Hey guys, I'm going to read chapter 9 of The Secret School. I hope everybody is enjoying the book just as much as I am. Chapter 9. So when we finish chapter 8, what was the little girl's name? Mary came running in to tell Ms. Bison, Ida, that a lady was there from the county education office and she wanted to talk to their teacher. I'm interested to see what the education lady has to say when she sees that their teacher's 14 years old. Chapter 9. A tall woman stepped into the school. She wore a green felt hat and a black suit. The skirt reached below her knees. A large purse dangled from one of her hands, and behind her the children crowded into the room. Ida instantly recognized the woman as Miss Sedgwick from the county education office. She lived in Steamboat Springs, where the high school was, 20 miles down the valley. From time to time, Miss Sedgwick came to their school to do inspections, and it was she who gave the exit exams. Ida wondered if the woman would recognize her. As she looked at Miss Sedgwick, Ida suddenly became aware of how shabby she must look in her simple polka dot dress made from one of her mother's. And the others looked just as ragged. Flex in his baggy trousers, Tom, his shirt torn at the elbow, Herbert in old overalls, ripped shirt, no shoes on his feet. The other children no better. She remembered her ma saying how poor the valley was. For the moment, the children and the woman just looked at one another. Then she turned to Ida, whose heart was pounding. "My name," the woman said, extending a white-gloved hand, "is Miss Sedgwick from the county education office. Where's Miss Fletcher?" "She's gone," Ida managed to say. "Gone? For the day?" "For good." "Oh." "Her mother back in Iowa got ill," Natasha said. "I'm sorry to hear that," said Miss Sedgwick. "When was that?" "A couple weeks ago," Ida said. "I see. And who are you?" "Miss Bison is our new teacher," Mary called out. "I see. Well, your school board was very fortunate to have found you so quickly, Miss Bison, and to secure your services. I'm very pleased to meet you." "Thank you, ma'am," Ida replied. "No doubt the board will be forwarding your credentials to the office." Miss Sedgwick paused and looked of puzzlement on her face. "Have we met before?" "Not really," said Ida. "Well, it'll be me, come June, who examines your 8th grade level students for their exit diplomas." "How many will there be?" "I'm in the 8th grade, miss," Tom said quickly. "Excellent," said Miss Sedgwick. "Your name?" "Tom Cole." Miss Sedgwick took out a pencil and a notebook from her purse and wrote down Tom's name. "Tom, you'll need to study hard. It's a challenging examination." She turned back to Ida. "Miss Bison, is this your first teaching appointment?" "Yes, ma'am." "I confess you seem very young," Miss Sedgwick said with a little laugh, "but I'm afraid that only tells you how my own years are getting on." "Yes, ma'am." Miss Sedgwick held up her notebook. "Might you tell me your full name?" Ida Bison." There was a moment of nervous silence as Miss Sedgwick wrote down the name in the book. "Well, now," she said, looking about, "everything looks perfectly in order. I'll not interrupt any further, Miss Bison. I'm very glad to have made your acquaintance. Children, mind your teacher." "Young man," she said to Tom, "I'll see you in a few weeks." She only seems to think that Tom's taking the test. With a wave, she walked out of the room. From the doorway, Ida watched Miss Sedgwick move towards her car. The other children looked on silently. "Ida," Tom said softly behind her back, "that lady doesn't know that you need to take the test. She won't give it to you in June." The moment Tom spoke, Ida knew he was right. "Miss Sedgwick!" Ida called. The woman paused and looked back. "I need to speak to you," Ida cried. "Yes, Miss Bison," the woman said, as Ida approached. The other children followed. "Miss Sedgwick," Ida said breathlessly, I'm not really a teacher." "I beg your pardon?" "I'm only in 8th grade," Ida rushed on. When Miss Fletcher left, the school board decided to close down the school till next fall term because they said that there wasn't enough time to get a new teacher." "Close down the school?" "Yes, ma'am, but we all," Ida gestured towards the others, "we all wanted to go on, especially Tom and me, so we could take our exit exams and go to the high school steamboat. We voted, ma'am. It was unanimous to have me as a teacher." Miss Sedgwick studied the faces looking up at her. "Miss Bison, exactly how old are you?" 14, ma'am." "I see. And you said you're in the 8th grade?" "Yes, ma'am." There was a long moment of silence. Then Flex bursted out. "She's my sister, but she's really smart." "Pretty tough, too," Herbert put in. "And she's a really good teacher," Natasha added. "She knows everything to do." "I'm sure Miss Bison has every one of those qualities," Miss Sedgwick said pensively. "But I need to understand something. While you and your classmates have gone on with the school, and with you as the teacher, Miss Bison, I trust you've informed the local school board of what you are doing." No one spoke. All eyes were on Ida. "No, ma'am," she said very quietly. "Ah, but what about your parents?" Miss Sedgwick said, addressing the group. "Have you informed them of what you are doing?" Once more silence followed Miss Sedgwick's question. "My parents know that I am teaching," Ida said at last. No one else spoke. "Well," the woman exclaimed, "I've been with the county for 15 years, and I've never heard anything quite like this. It is most unusual. I hope to be a real teacher someday," Ida said hurriedly. "But to do that, I have to get to high school first." "Plus, a year at State Normal College in Glinsley, I must add," said Mrs. Sedgwick, said rather primly. "To this," Ida went on, "was the only way Tom Cole and me could take the test and keep school going." She paused. Can we keep doing it and take the test?" "Miss Bison," Miss Sedgwick said, no longer smiling, "I think it's wonderful that she paused. "But the school board acts independently. My office has a duty to oversee teacher certification, curriculum, and exit exams. So I'll have to look into this," she said with a sudden abruptness. "You'll hear from me shortly." With that, Miss Sedgwick, without another word, got into her car and drove off. "Oh, you're going to get in trouble now," Herbert said. "What do you think she'll do?" Tom asked Ida. "Don't know," Ida said. "Has anyone besides me told their parents that I'm the new teacher?" No one admitted to it. "Best hold your tongue. Now recess is long time over," Ida announced, and headed back inside. For what was left of the afternoon, the mood was anxious. As Ida was getting into the car to head home, Tom went up to the front. He bent over to start cranking up, but then he stood up. "What do you think's going to happen?" he asked. "I don't know." "I think you're doing a good job," he told her. "Thank you," she said. "But Tom, I don't think that'll have anything to do with it." "It should," he said. As Ida drove off with Flex at the pedals, she recalled the places they had heard on the radio. Salt Lake City, Albany, Chicago. In one day, the world had become so big. but Elk Valley had never seemed so isolated. All right, that's it for today. Bye, guys.